Hey everybody, welcome back. HSC Podcast 79. Big Box Steve on the mic. We give Fresh West first billing because he was here before, but got the big smooth. So, what a crazy couple weeks we got. Can't wait to get into this. But if you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to subscribe and like. Listening on uh, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Anchor. Thanks for listening. Comments are more than welcome. So the more comments, the better. If you're listening, please comment. So let's get into it. So we got week 3 coming up. NFL, it's crazy. Before we get into that, let's get into some HSC podcast statistical facts. You guys ready for this?
Sure.
There's one quarterback who's played in the playoffs who has never taken a snap in the NFL where his team was not or was statistically out of the playoffs. So mathematically out of the playoffs. He's never taken a snap in his whole career where his team was statistically out of the playoffs.
Are they like right now current players?
This one is any player.
Oh,
Never taken a snap as a quarterback when his team couldn't make the playoffs.
well, Mahomes.
Got Mahomes. What's your guess, Wes?
Never taken a snap. Oh,
Never,
and not
never
been.
taken a single stat when his team couldn't make the playoffs.
Uh, hmm. Well, I don't know. Hmm, that's tough. Steve Young. I don't know. I don't
Mr.
know
Tom Brady. Never taken a snap in the NFL when his team couldn't make the playoffs.
because that one year he got hurt when they didn't make the playoffs.
Yeah. But
Yeah,
can you imagine playing for that long and every physical snap you took, you could make the playoffs?
that's true. Yeah.
So when did Mahomes not have a chance?
You're gonna have to research that more than me.
Yeah, I mean, or Josh Allen, right? Hasn't he made the playoffs like every year he's been in the league? 2017. So Mahomes didn't play 2018 or 2017.
Yeah. Well,
Chiefs.
Which
Chiefs.
So you do some research on that. I mean, and I don't know, I misread he wasn't the only one, but he's never taken a snap in the NFL where his team couldn't go to the playoffs.
Well,
Right.
I mean, how many years did he play? I mean, that's
Well,
just ridiculous.
Right.
And that's just
Played
20
like
years.
20 years in the NFL, and
Mhm.
every single snap he took was with a potential playoff team.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So here's a second stat, which is crazy. Listen to this one. So there's a player playing the NFL right now. When he played in high school, his senior of high school, he had 27 touchdowns. And every 4 times he touched the ball, he scored a touchdown. And
He's
he's
playing now.
he's playing right now in the NFL. In his high school senior year, he scored 4 touchdowns. or he scored 27 touchdowns. Every 4 times he touched the ball was a touchdown. And he's a defensive player in the NFL.
Hmm.
So why you guys think about this? Think about that. Every 4 times this guy touched the ball in
Right.
his senior year, he scored a touchdown. And he scored 27 touchdowns in his senior year.
So he'd have to be a receiver.
But no, he's a defensive player in the NFL right now.
Yeah, but he would have had to been a receiver in high school. Because you're going to
Yeah.
touch the ball more than
Right. You would think.
defensive player.
Give me a guess.
I'm going to guess Trayvon Diggs.
That's a good guess.
That's who I was going to guess. Let's say no, not him. Just can't think right now. Micah Parsons.
It is Micah Parsons.
Yeah.
On offense, scored 27 touchdowns in his senior year of high school on offense. Only touching the ball 108 times.
Yeah.
So every 4 times this guy touched the ball on offense, he scored a touchdown.
Yeah.
And Mahomes has won a division every year he's taken a snap for the Chiefs.
Well, so I mean, maybe the first one wasn't the only one, but let's just say this guy.
Because it's cheating too, because Brady did it for 20 years, right?
Right.
So that's amazing.
So it was a Brady stat, so maybe they weren't very clear about it, but Brady played for 20 years and never took a snap when he wasn't eligible for the playoffs. That's crazy.
Well, because weren't they only eligible for playoff 1 year, or they missed it, and that's because Brady was hurt?
Yeah, he was hurt that year. It's crazy.
And they still won 10 games with Matt Castle.
Matt Castle. So fun stats there. I thought those were both pretty interesting stats. The Brady one's pretty crazy, but the Micah Parsons one is interesting too.
When I said to Trayvon and I knew that wasn't it, that was one of my guesses. I was like,
right.
I didn't know how much offense he played.
Right.
Well, I didn't know he played offense at all before I saw these stats. And can you imagine every 4 times you touch the ball, you got a touchdown?
Wow,
that's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, 28 touchdowns. Yeah.
So let's get into we're gonna get into week 3 actually, but before we get into that, let's talk a little college football. So this week was pretty exciting. What do you guys think about the Colorado State game?
Well, Colorado State came to play, and then they went all conservative at the very end. So that's what I love to see. It's like you're playing hard, and then you play prevent, and then
I saw a couple comments on that talking about why did teams go to the prevent at the end of the game?
It's dumb.
Yeah,
I can't stand. I mean, I get it. You don't want to go cover 0 either, but prevent, it's just okay. You're just letting them go back and score. What are we? The Denver game, same thing. The Commanders just went into prevent, and then Denver went down and then hit a Hail Mary.
But I mean, when you think about it, though, like most teams do that. So what's the advantage?
It's because everyone's playing it safe because they don't want to lose their job. Like Greg Williams when he went cover 0 for the Jets against the Raiders. No one wants to do that.
So, but played it safe. I mean, statistically, that has to be better. Otherwise, why is everybody doing it?
I don't know.
It's an interesting thought process because I saw multiple people talking about Colorado State dropping, going to the prevent and then letting Colorado basically back into the game.
Yeah.
Yeah. They started from like their own like 2 or 1, and
Right.
like they played off the ball the entire. They had no pressure on them whatsoever. But the whole rest of the game, there was pressure on Sanders the entire game. He had a clean pocket. You can't do that for a good quarterback. I mean, any quarterback in this league, in college or this, that is, just think of like if you were playing for like the old Houston or Hawaii and you had a clean pocket and you just dink, dunk, dunk. That's all they did. And in college, it's even worse because, after 2 minutes, when it's less than 2 minutes, the clock stops after a first
Right.
down.
Yeah, every
So it
first
hurts even
down,
more.
you're getting a clock stop. But then, of course, what you're saying is what happens if you pressure or if you don't go to prevent, then you get beat deep. Now it looks like you did something wrong, right?
Right. Well, you just got to mix stuff in. You got to mix pressures in. What was there was one game that did it perfectly. Oh, the Dolphins Chargers game in week 1 when Herbert got the ball at the very end of
Well,
the
yeah,
game.
yeah, the Dolphins put some pressure on.
Yeah, and they changed it up. They like blitzed a safety, but they did like, and then a D end went into coverage. So they
Right.
mixed up the coverages. You don't want to play vanilla at the very end of the game.
I think there's a little bit to like the play calling strategy too, because if you put too much pressure on at the end of the game, if you are sending people, you are giving up the middle of the field and you're giving up those short passes that turn into, about 10 or 15 yak after the catch, right? So there is a little bit of that too, because you don't want to let them catch and run.
Yeah, so you just let them catch 20-yard passes and then just go down the field. So I
Yeah.
mean,
No, they did. They on that last drive, they did everything backwards. They
Yeah.
played prevent all the way to the 50, let them go all the way down to the 50, and then on the last play, right, Horn gets behind the coverage, and Sanders throws a rope. I mean, that was a freaking throw to Horn in the corner, scores a touchdown, and
Yeah.
and they get point conversion. I mean, they did everything backwards in the drive. I mean, if you're on your own too, if the guy he's on the 2, why aren't you pressuring him like you did the
right.
whole game? You can get a safety and end the game right there.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a tough one. Deciding what you're going to do as a defensive coordinator there, calling the defense. I'm not a fan of the prevent personally. Like I think you just play your normal defense. Whatever you normally play, like you should stick with that. And if they come out 5 receivers, maybe you go to a dime or whatever you go to. Like it should still be normal. It shouldn't
Right.
be that drop the safeties way back, pull your corners off, things like that. So, I mean, I definitely agree with that, but it's just so weird that it's so common. Even in the NFL, they do it. Like you were talking about the Commanders and Denver game, same thing. So that's an interesting look at that. Um, College football overall, though, I'm looking at this now. Like the only real big loss was Tennessee, right? So Tennessee loses to Florida.
Yeah.
But let's talk about the next week for a second because have you guys looked at the schedule for next week, college games?
Yeah. Yeah. I've looked at about half the schedule.
Dude, there's like 7 games where top 25 teams are playing each other.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
And one game where top 10 teams are playing each other, the Ohio State Notre Dame game. but you've got, Oregon State, Washington State, you got Ole Miss, Alabama, UCLA, Utah, Colorado, Oregon. There's a lot of good games next week.
Yeah, Mississippi, Alabama.
Mississippi, Alabama is the other one. That's going to be real interesting, right?
Iowa, Penn State. And then I know they're not ranked, but Clemson, Florida State too.
Yeah,
right.
You're
still a tough
getting
game.
into the conference season now, so you're going to start, and especially the Pac-12. You got Washington State, Oregon State. I mean,
that's going to be a good game.
I mean, that's going to be an interesting game.
Well, what do you guys think about the Oregon Colorado game? So Oregon's a 21-point favorite.
I saw that. That's a lot of points, but they're down Hunter, but I still think Colorado's got just way too many weapons to sit there and say, oh yeah, well, they're going to lose by 3 touchdowns.
By 21?
Yeah. But then again, Oregon's very explosive, and if Hunter's not in there, I mean, Hunter's like their best DB. He's not even there. They need all the DBs they can get for this game. Their defense is not very good. Even though they played all right against Colorado State, it's Colorado State. Oregon is Colorado State.
Yeah, what was the spread for that game? Was like 30-something, wasn't it?
Yeah, there's all hype though. It's because Washington State beat up on Colorado State, so everyone's like, of course Colorado is going to beat them worse, but no.
Which is interesting.
A lot.
This is kind of you're still not even talking about 2 great teams, but you're talking about probably one of the biggest hyped games this week.
Yes, because it's Colorado. The primetime game, right? The primetime game broke the primetime record on ESPN and had almost 10 million views at like 2:30 in the morning on the East Coast.
Well, that's all because of the head coach of Colorado State. He's the one that created all.
Yeah, he's talking.
Dude, that was funny. And we're sitting there, Steve, and we're out there on your porch, and we're all having a good time. And I'm showing you on my phone. They're fighting before the game. What are we doing here?
Right. No, this to me, and I'm surprised Colorado State played that well.
Ooh, they played pretty darn good.
Yeah, this is the true test. This is a true test for Colorado for sure. Yeah. I also really am interested to see this Ole Miss Alabama game. Because if Alabama loses this game, right, they go to 2-2.
They're done. Yeah.
And is that like the downfall of Alabama? Is this like a downturn for them?
I don't know. I think it's all about quarterback, right? They need a quarterback. They benched their starter already.
Right.
No, well, they're going back with Jalen. They're going to go back with him. So he's going to start. And like I said, Mississippi, Dart, they got some firepower. Alabama's defense is really good. But I still think you got to score points against Mississippi. Mississippi's probably going to score.
They're going to score for sure.
They're going to score, and they got to be there. It's going to be. It might be another Texas situation,
right?
So,
and then let's finish up college with Ohio State and Notre Dame. You 2 top 10 teams, right? Does Notre Dame deserve to be there? Maybe not, but they're 4-0. Ohio State hasn't looked great. You got the number 6 team in Ohio State without a great quarterback. What do you guys think about this game? Like, who are you taking here? You got Ohio State with a 3 points
on the road in Notre Dame.
Right.
Ooh, wait a minute. Ohio State's favorite? I didn't see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just because I think Notre Dame in big games, they're like probably 0-20 in the last 30 years. It's a big game.
Cousins.
Yeah, it's just your Notre Dame is great when it doesn't matter, and when it matters, they don't seem like they don't have the athletes on the outside to really. They just don't have the speed for the most part. But Kyle McCord, Ohio State's, he got off to a shaky start first couple of games, but I mean, they got Marvin Harrison Jr. Here's okay, problem solved. Where's Marvin Harrison Jr.? I'm just gonna throw it to him. Now he's starting to, the offense is starting to click, and so I still think Ohio State. I mean, 3 points. I understand that. I would take Ohio State in the game, but I think it's going to be close for 3 quarters. Now, Notre Dame's got a good defense. They always have a good defense.
I mean, Notre Dame's always going to get athletes.
Yeah,
they're always going to get athletes.
I just don't like their skill people. I never liked their skill. They don't have enough skill.
Yeah, they're not getting the highest skill players. Mm-hmm. I don't think so either. That should be an interesting game though, because I'm not sold on Ohio State this year.
No. Normally, if this was last year, I say Ohio State runs them out of the Golden Dome. For sure. They beat them by like 30. But no, Kyle McCord, there's too many question marks. But I still think they get it done.
Right. Yeah, a lot of good games though. I mean, be honest with you, I'm pretty excited more about the college week.
Oh yeah.
Like this should be a really good college week.
Those games. I mean, I want to go to either the Oregon game or the Washington State game. You know what? I can drive to either one of them. It's like, which one would you choose? Washington State and Oregon State? No, Colorado. I gotta choose Colorado and Oregon though.
Yeah, you got. I mean, Colorado and Oregon. I think it's the hypest game, but
I think
those tickets are going to be
$400. Right. I still think the Oregon State Washington State's gonna be a great game. It'll be fun to watch.
What's tickets for that one, Wes?
I don't know.
So college, great week to watch. I think this is a big week for college football. Let's get into week 2 wrap up recap NFL. Derek, Big Smooth, 12-4. That's a good week for you. West Coast 10-6, and another dismal week for me at 9-7. Geez. So looking at a couple of games, let's talk about a couple of games that stick out. So Seattle, Detroit game. I think we all had Detroit, right?
Yeah.
But what a game. Another back and forth game. Like it seems like those two teams just come to play each other. But I think Detroit, showed some of their weaknesses here, which I think may hurt them, in the long run. And the inability to convert, the mental mistakes, and the inability to stop people after they turn the ball over.
Right.
So I think it's still a downfall of Detroit. I saw it last year in them, and I think this game showed that. But I mean, I thought Detroit could still win that game.
Yeah, I thought they were going to end up pulling it out, but it's just, their defense, there's holes. They got holes. They play great for so long, but then I think you see the lack of depth, especially in the secondary. And Geno Smith played well. I got to admit it. He has his moments where he comes up big, and I think that really says something about them going forward. I think Detroit for sure is going to probably be one of the more exciting teams in the league, especially because there's so many unexciting teams this year so far. I mean, this is some of it's painful to watch. I'm like, geez, where's the off? What's going on here?
Our Monday night games.
Oh,
the
man,
only
it's
game.
horrible.
I mean, look at there's just so many teams that you think, oh yeah, they're going to be explosive on offense, but Detroit's probably going to be one of the more exciting teams this year. So it's fun to watch them.
Well, I mean, the problem now is you have St. Brown with this toe injury.
Yeah, Montgomery's hurt.
Yeah, and then how long until Jameson Williams comes back? You got what?
4 more games, right? I think
4
it was
more
6
games.
games.
Yeah. So,
although Reynolds and Raymond played well.
yeah, no, Reynolds stepped up a lot. I think I talked about that last week, and it's like Reynolds is not a bad receiver. Reynolds is good. He's solid.
They're good. They're good. They're good over. They're good crossing. They can beat you on some corner routes like they did on that touchdown. But they really miss Jameson Williams. I mean, they're just waiting for him to come back because they just need that one guy that can really stretch the field. And I think their offense is just
They
really off the hook.
They really don't have a receiver that stretches the field.
No.
St. Brown's awesome, but he is that middle of the field, the crossing route guy.
They're
he's
great.
not.
They're great getting into space and catching it,
Yeah.
but stretching the field, they just it's not their
So Minnesota, Philly, obviously Minnesota stuck around. Philly still pulled it out. Atlanta, Green Bay was a crazy game. Atlanta comes down from down 12 and wins that game. And Jordan Love, doesn't look so bad. They haven't really played anybody yet, so that's a question mark for them. Buffalo rolls over Vegas. Cincinnati, Baltimore. Cincinnati, showed a lot at the end, just couldn't come all the way back. So that was an interesting game as well.
Well, their offense still is bad.
Oh, it looks so bad.
Because I mean, they had they're only did they get a touchdown late, but they're only touchdown. Most of the game was a kick punt return.
Yeah, punt return. T. Higgins had a couple.
Yeah,
they just definitely don't. But
Burrow's averaging 4.5 yards a play. It's like 4th worst in NFL history for the first 2 weeks of the season.
At the same time, Baltimore does not look that good either.
They don't look that good.
They've got a million injuries though already.
Yeah.
I mean, they were without Marlon Humphrey, so your shut down corner, Odell Beckham's not there. Your starting running back's not there. Your starting left tackle isn't there. I mean, those are 4 premium positions.
Yeah.
They still beat the Bengals.
And the Lamar Jackson needs those guys because they don't have the chemistry yet. And Lamar needs it because he's not just one of these guys that improvises that great on when he's throwing the ball so much. He needs those guys there, and they just haven't been around enough. Yeah, it's not like him and Chase and Burrow, Chase and Higgins. They got that. Doesn't matter how much Burrow's hurt. He's out there, he's diming it to T. Higgins for 2 touchdowns, even though he's, he's just not himself. But yeah, Lamar they're going to struggle if Beckham's hurt. And Zay Flowers going to have to step it up more. I mean, he had an all right game, but he's going to have to.
Yeah. I mean, Andrews coming back helps a lot. His first game back, he still had a good game. He'll continue to work back in the offense. That does help.
Nelson Aguilar.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he had a touchdown. I guess that's the answer right there, Aguilar.
Yeah. I mean, that's the guy I want.
But remember this noise about how Lamar's going to throw for 6,000 yards?
Yeah.
Do you remember that crap? Dude,
no.
That's just major nonsense.
No, they're sick to run the game. And to be honest with you, even losing Dobbins, Edwards and Justice, they're just as good as Dobbins. Like, Dobbins isn't great.
Well,
Lamar still threw for more yards than the highest paid quarterback in the NFL.
Oh, that's not hard.
Is
Joe
it?
Burrow.
Isn't it Mahomes now though?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
Mahomes
well,
now,
I mean,
but
technically,
Isn't that funny?
that's crazy.
It's just so dumb. I wake up in the middle of the night, turn on ESPN, I'm like, oh, that's highlights, and they're talking about Mahomes' contract. I'm like,
I couldn't.
really?
You know what?
Do I care?
Like the Twitter X, I had like 30 notifications.
It's
Yeah.
stupid.
Okay, cool. It's a restructure.
Yeah.
That's cool. I don't need to know it 20 million times.
I know. It's like they talked about it all night. I'm like, what about the game? I don't give a crap what people make. You know, it's getting so annoying for all these people. And yeah, well, I'm glad he got his bag. Why do you care? You know, of course they are. They're going to get millions of dollars to play football. Congratulations. Why do we care?
The interesting part about watching this game and watching these two teams in the first couple games is that I don't think they're creating the separation that they should be between Pittsburgh and Cleveland and them. I think they're both of those teams, when you look at Pittsburgh and Cleveland, can be competitive at this point with Baltimore and Cincinnati. And so that's what's interesting to me watching them play this game.
See, I don't know. I mean, I guess, but Cincinnati or Cleveland and Pittsburgh, we saw both quarterbacks are horrendous.
Oh, I mean, Deshaun Watson literally lost that game.
Yeah. And he hasn't been good.
Single-handedly lost that game.
And he doesn't look.
Why are you grabbing dude's face masks?
Yeah.
I mean, Cleveland kept shooting himself in the foot, and granted, Pittsburgh's defense had a lot of stats, but the reality is they weren't stopping Cleveland. Cleveland still had 400 yards of offense.
Well, they got how much on that one run by?
Yeah, but still, it's like they're moving the ball, and then it's like a holding, and then a Deshaun Watson face mask, multiple times. And then
it's also fool's gold too, because Pittsburgh was doing nothing. So Cleveland gets the ball back. I mean, that's what happens. It's like
these are not playoff teams just because the quarterback play is so abysmal. I mean, what was it? Was it the second play of the game? Pickett throws an interception on a slant.
But you see that Deshaun Watson throws it.
Deshaun Watson threw a pick six on his first pass.
Yeah, play.
And that was bad too. And people were like, oh, it wasn't really his fault. I go, yeah, it was. He let him to. Mika Fitzpatrick, it was a bad design. It was a terrible design on the play. But he let him too much, and Mika Fitzpatrick's right there, and he takes it to the house. It was a terrible play overall.
I guess the question is, and so this is my thought process, so I'm interested to hear what you guys think. I just don't think that division is as far apart as I thought it was.
No.
After watching the first couple weeks. Maybe that will change. Well,
the Ravens are still 2-0.
Yeah, and if Burrow keeps
no, I'm talking about quality of play. I'm not talking about record. I'm talking about quality of play.
Well, I'm just saying the Ravens, they just win. Right? I mean, every year they win.
Yeah.
No matter what happens, they're usually.
So if you're going the Ravens going into Pittsburgh right now or going into Cleveland right now,
they're going to win.
You just think no doubt in your mind.
No doubt. Now the Bengals.
See, I just don't
have doubt with the Bengals.
I have doubt with both of them.
If the Ravens are going to keep having problems, I know Andrews is coming back. That helps Lamar because they have chemistry, they have history. The rest of the guys they don't. Now Zay Flowers, if Zay Flowers starts lighting teams up, then yeah, the Steelers and the Browns won't be much of a match for them. But if they don't have big plays, Andrews is not going to cut it for them to make a deep run in the playoffs in the first place. If they don't have big plays, even Lamar's legs, they're not getting the plays like they used to in the past. He's got to start. They got to have explosive plays. And yeah, Pittsburgh and Cleveland won't be in any match.
They both have solid defenses, though. They do have solid defenses.
They do. Yeah.
The Ravens made the playoffs with Tyler Huntley last year.
So but I mean, they can make
they don't need
playoffs,
a bunch
but
of.
they can't do anything in the playoffs. That's the problem.
Well, they almost beat the Bengals with nobody on their team.
They got
If I'm anybody, I'm worried about the Bengals because they look horrendous.
Oh yeah, Burrow. I'm worried about Burrow because he's limping around now. It's like, what is this is what Chase said. He's like, man, if you're not right, just wait. Just wait.
So
now
here's the thing though. Pittsburgh's 1-1, Cleveland's 1-1, and Baltimore's 2-0. Right? Baltimore's not leaps and bounds ahead of those. They're 1-1. Like one game puts them even.
The Chiefs are 1-1. The Raiders are 1-1. I mean,
that's what I'm saying. It's too early to be like Baltimore being 2-0.
Freaking Tampa Bay Buccaneers are 2-0.
Right.
Is it the South, the NFC South? They have 3 teams that are 2-0, and we said it was going to be the worst division.
It's too early to be talking about like 2-0 being like the thing.
I know.
So, I mean, that was the point. Is I think that division is closer, in my opinion, than I thought it was.
I think it's too early to tell if it's closer or not.
Yeah. Well, I mean, none of those teams look good, so we'll see what happens down the road. Tennessee beating the Chargers. Chargers are 0-2. Tennessee winning that game, I think, is pretty crazy. Tampa. So let's talk about Tampa, Chicago. So here's the thing: Chicago looks so bad, and then obviously coming from a Bears fan,
dude, it's horrific.
Their offensive play calling it looks like a middle school team.
No, not that good.
Well, on the Pat McAfee show, Dan Orlovsky talked about the Bears ran a screen play 3 times in a row, the same play.
And then they're doing it on like the 3-yard line, which
that was
the
worst play I've ever seen.
Because it's not like Chicago didn't have a chance to win the game.
Of course, Fields, I'm sorry, that's on Fields, but at the same point, why are you running that play? You're running a curl with the running back on the 3-yard line?
But here's the problem with Fields, though. So Fields is not progressing like he should.
No.
He's far enough into the league. There is multiple, not in just this game, but the game before, where he's missing reads. He's not making the right reads. He's not throwing the ball where he should be throwing the ball. And this is a problem on both sides. So first of all, you're calling crappy offense, and now you have a quarterback who's not progressing because you're not running offense that helps him progress. And on top of that, he can't make the reads. So, because you look at the game, you're like 27-10 or 27-17. Oh, Tampa Bay beat them by 10. But that was a close game the whole way throughout, right? The only difference was the last screen pick 6 at the end of the game. That gives them that last score. So there has to be a change in Chicago. If there's no change in Chicago, they're headed right back for a top 3 pick.
Well, here's the thing is, when are we going to start saying maybe Fields isn't the answer?
Right.
Because right now, through 27 games, he's worse than Mitchell Trubisky on everything except rushing yards.
Yeah.
And
you could look at the stats of those two, but you also have to look at the offense.
Well, there's only 2 quarterbacks have a winning percentage below 200 in their first 27 career starts over the last 40 years. Justin Fields and Blaine Gabbert.
Boy, talk about some info there.
Yeah.
They both have won 5 games and lost 22.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It could be.
Anytime you're coming into look, their defense has been horrible both games.
Well,
you get up 170 yards to Mike Evans, and then you give up 100 whatever yards to Aaron Jones. Like they're just getting ran all over.
Well, that's my last stat. 12 straight losses, and they've given up 25 points or more in every.
I mean, so their defense has been terrible. That creates a second problem, right? The biggest problem is so you have defense is a problem. You're giving up too many points, but your offense, they're both of the last two coaches are refusing to run an offense to their players. You have to set your offense up to the players that you have.
Unless you're Josh McDaniels and you get rid of them and use it as an excuse that I didn't have the players I wanted.
Right. Yeah. So and it's not an argument for Fields, because I'll tell you what, Fields is missing reads right now. He's missing reads. He's not progressing like he should be progressing. He should be way further advanced as a quarterback than he is right now.
Yeah.
So yeah, he's not making it. But you're not putting in positions to excel either.
Yeah, he's not running like he was last year. That's a problem, because that was his greatest asset. If he's not running, then you just see what he's going to be like. If he's going to be like a pocket passer,
he's not a pocket passer, dude.
He's just not. And so
you
got to make a decision. You're either going to run him, or you might as well trade him. If you're not going to do what his strengths are, if you're just going to sit here like, I want you to do, they want to change what he is. It's not going to happen. No.
And that's who's right now the best rookie quarterback is Anthony Richardson. And he's the one that came out with like, oh, well, he's the most raw, right?
Yeah.
But the coach puts him in the direct, here we go. This is what we're going to do to make you succeed. The Colts were close to being 2-0.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
needs to stop getting hurt.
Yeah, he needs
that was a bad fall.
He led up as he was running into the end zone, which is why he got the concussion. You can't, you got to protect yourself.
Dude, if he wouldn't have gotten hurt, though.
All right. He was on his way to a big game.
Yeah.
But it's both there in Houston, too. So it's so let's finish up week 2 recap, though. One more team I want to talk about is the Giants.
Oh, God.
I mean, first of all, you lose 40-0 to the Cowboys, right? And then you're down 3 scores to the Cardinals. Granted, they come back, they get the win, but where are the Giants at right now? And now you lose Saquon.
Hurt.
Right. Now Saquon's hurt.
And aren't they playing the Niners?
Yep.
Yeah.
On Thursday.
Short week. No Saquon.
Going against the Niners. San Francisco.
Oh, dude.
Fun.
But so what's the difference in the Giants? How you play that bad in the first 2 weeks?
Well, I mean, we like to talk about it with other people, so we'll talk about Daniel Jones. Besides Saquon, all his people are new, right?
Yeah. Well, Slayton's still there, but
yeah.
No,
But he does. He has new tight end, new number 1 receiver.
Yeah.
And I just feel like the Dallas game was just a really bad game. And then the Cardinals game, they were hungover from it at the beginning.
Dude, you come out and you go down 3 scores to the Cardinals.
That was crazy. Almost messed up my survivor pool.
That's not even the biggest story. The biggest story is how do the Cardinals go up 28-7, right? And they don't score another point the whole game, and the Giants win. Tell me that one.
Oh, I told you guys. I texted you what happened.
And they lost me my parlay by 1 point. I won my other 2 games. I lost by 1 point. I should have never picked the Giants. I know. I shouldn't have done it. But I couldn't pick against the Raiders. I can't pick against
God.
That would have been a good bet.
That would have been a
great bet. I can't do that. I've done it before, but I'm not going to continue to do that.
So I think week 2, my recap for week 2 is that you saw a lot of I mean, equality, in my opinion, around the league that you really don't have because week one you expect that, but it continued in week two, and especially in the NFC, I don't think you know who's really going to win week over week. You know,
There's a few teams that
there's a
look pretty
couple,
good,
yeah,
though.
there's a couple teams that you would definitely pick. I think the 49ers look really good right now. But
Hey,
overall, I
they
mean,
struggled against the Rams.
they did.
First half.
They
And
struggled
so,
for quite a bit. So
yeah.
it's tough right now. And then Kansas City did not look great against Jacksonville.
Cowboys.
The
God, dude,
Cowboys, yeah,
are the Cowboys the NFC team right now?
it's weak. I mean,
Yeah, Cowboys are right now. Cowboys are Niners.
Yeah.
Although the Saints,
Dude, Saints
they're
did
deep.
not. They're playing Carolina.
I know, but their defense is legit though too.
the defense is legit, but again, the chemistry they have cars out there. You just can tell.
I know, but it's early. That's the thing is they have
Early.
time.
But a
They don't
lot
have
of these
Kamara
teams,
back yet.
and here's what people are talking about today, and the discussion's been maybe we need. They're like maybe we need more preseason games because these guys don't look ready out there.
Right.
And there's that noise now. It's like, oh yeah, we need more preseason games.
They don't play them in any of the
practices do they have in the offseason? They're professionals. What about these college kids? I mean, they get out week one. I mean, they're out there they're blowing stuff up week one, and they don't have preseason in college. It's
but it's a big difference in skill set. Most of your college games.
Still, you could tell by the quality of play though in the first 2 weeks is subpar in pretty much almost every game. It's just
right. Well,
I've never seen so many check downs in the first 2 weeks.
Let's get into week 3 then. This should be a more telling week. Let's see, how much closer we can get here. So let's move into HSC Podcast week 3 NFL picks. Starting with the Giants at San Francisco. Wes, why don't you lead us off?
San Francisco, big. Well, I mean, I just think the Niners are clicking offensively, even though the explosive plays they're going to come. I think they're going to come in this game. I think Kittle's going to have a big game. I think the Giants will continue to score. I just think the 49ers will score more. I'm going to take Niners 28 and Giants 17.
Yeah, in San Francisco. What do you think, Derek?
Well, I kind of agree, but I don't agree. Their offense struggled mightily once Ayuk got hurt. 49ers. But yeah, they're still going to win because the Giants will probably not have
Wait a minute.
So
is Ayuk going to play?
I don't know. He left in like the first quarter, or else I would have beat you in fantasy football.
Wait a minute, I won?
Yeah. But you lost.
I'm like Chevy Chase. I'm in Caddyshack. I don't keep score.
It's fine, because off the top of
into that.
Now I get in the waiver wire. Now I can pick up stockpile my team while they get healthy.
Yeah. These aren't the droids you're looking for. Nothing to see here in the waiver wire.
Well, I mean, the Giants, I think they have to show something this game, right? Like if you come out flat again, first of all, you're going to get blown out again. But it's tough. You go in your first 3 games of the season, you're playing 2 of the top teams in the NFC. Even if Ayuk doesn't play, McCaffrey is playing well. Purdy's playing well. I think Wes is right in this situation that Kittle will have a big game. So, I mean, I think the Giants lose by at least 2 touchdowns. So it's going to be an interesting Thursday night game.
Yeah.
All right, Tennessee at Cleveland. Derek, what do you got?
The Browns are favored by 3.5, but I have no faith in the Browns. So I'm taking the Titans here. I have more faith in Derrick Henry and Tannehill not making as much mistakes as Watson. So I got Tennessee.
Yeah. I mean, it's at Cleveland, but yeah, I mean, Chubb obviously does not look like he's coming back.
No, he's out for the season. They already said.
And Ford did play well. The problem is Watson. So, I mean, it's hard to know if Watson's going to turn it around. If he does, I think Cleveland could easily win this game. But after last game, I'm just not confident in him, so I'm going to take Tennessee as well. What do you got, Wes?
Yeah. The Chargers. I still can't believe Tannehill ran the option and scored a touchdown against the Chargers, but I guess that's how bad the Chargers defense is. I mean, it's just wild. It's like that wouldn't even work in college now. It's like the Chargers defense is terrible.
It is bad.
And so I got to go with the Titans because, yeah, the Browns, Watson just looks, he looks like he's lost 2 steps. He doesn't look like the same player at all. He doesn't even look fast anymore. And, he just doesn't look good. Chubb's down. I think it's close because the Titans really
are not good either.
they're not going to blow you up on offense. So I'm taking Tennessee 23-17.
Yeah, I mean, I think it'll be a close game. So I still got a Tennessee close. But Watson, his decision making is at an all-time low.
Well,
and yeah, it's tough to pick him there.
Man, imagine trading 3 first-round picks for this.
Oh,
right. And giving him
how much money?
$50 million.
Much guaranteed money?
Jesus.
Oh my! Talk about desperate. It's like that's just
you might as well have kept Baker Mayfield.
Yeah, you'd have all your draft picks still.
Right. Yeah.
You'd have Will Anderson.
Right. Atlanta at Detroit. I think at Detroit here is the key. I think these teams are close in skill set. I think they're both up and coming teams. I think Bijan has a big game, but at Detroit, I think Detroit's still going to win this at home. And I think they'll win it fairly handily by the time the game wraps up. It'll be close most of the game, but Detroit by 10.
Is it me?
It's Wes.
Yeah, I got Detroit too. Yeah, I like Atlanta. I like Bijan, especially because he's on my fantasy team. And I was pretty disappointed. He got the stupid touchdown call back that sweet run last week. It was so ridiculous. But Detroit's playing at home. I think they're even in a situation where you don't want to go 1-2 right now, especially, you're playing at home against Atlanta. Atlanta's unproven. They should take care of business. I think it's gonna be close though. A little bit higher.
Atlanta's 2-0.
Yeah. I think 30-27.
Yeah, I think it'll be close, but yeah, I got Detroit winning. So, even though they were home against Seattle too, but I guess Seattle's beaten Detroit 5 straight times in Detroit. So that was an interesting stat. But yeah, I just think the Falcons aren't there yet. And I don't know if I'm really sold on Ritter yet. So I'm going to go Detroit.
Yeah, Ritter's it's tough with him because he makes good plays in big moments, but overall, he's not a great quarterback.
And you know what? They're not using Pitts or London.
Yeah.
No.
He's targeting Mac Hollins more than them.
Yeah, that's just not. That's just not acceptable. You need to get the ball to those are your playmakers. Those are your explosive playmakers. And he got the ball to London, especially because he's on my fantasy team too. I mean, you have
No,
potential, and you got Bijan. You're coming
you
out of
gotta,
the Bijan pits. I mean, that's
yeah.
like some that's explosive, and it's just like I don't understand. I was watching the Packer game. I'm like, what are you doing? It's like you're putting too much pressure on Bijan already. He's a rookie, you know.
So here's an interesting game. Wes, lead us off here. New Orleans at Green Bay.
Oh, jeez. Yeah, I mean, I I'm gonna go with New Orleans here, just because they have so many different ways that they can move the ball, even though they're not scoring a lot of points. I think that's going to eventually come, but I think this will be a close game. I think New Orleans has the edge, just all the weapons. I think Jordan Love turns the ball over maybe a few times this game because the New Orleans defense, they ball hawk. Um, I say 26-21 New Orleans.
What do you think, Derek?
Yeah, I got the Saints in this one too. I think their defense is just way better than the Packers, and I think it's Jordan Love hasn't had to face anyone really tough on defense yet, and so he's gonna get a rude awakening here. But it's gonna be close because it's in Green Bay, so I'm gonna go 24-21.
Yeah, I think that the toughest part about this game is in Green Bay. And man, I mean, Green Bay's defense is not bad. Green Bay has a good defense. New Orleans has lost another running back.
Unless Williams.
Yeah,
Thomas Jones did okay though.
he did.
Yeah,
He did.
they got the rookie from TCU is going to play, so
DeAndre Miller. Taysom
he's
Hill was fine running the ball too.
Yeah, he did all right.
Taysom Hill,
So,
and that's another element that you're going to see more, I think, as the season progresses.
Fantasy
right.
football tight end playing running back.
Why not? Shoot, he was playing quarterback too.
Man, I think I seen him even kick the ball one time. Uh, I think I'm gonna go with New Orleans here. I was back and forth on this a lot. I have New Orleans on my pick, so I'm gonna stick with it. Although it's a tough one, man. I really think that this could go either way. It really comes down to Jordan Love. Like if Love couldn't keep his composure, but he's got such young receivers, they got to catch the ball. So I'm gonna stick with New Orleans. I think New Orleans by 7. Denver at Miami. Derek, what do you got?
Oh, Miami's favored by 6.5. That's easy. I'm taking the Dolphins on this one. We already got Sean Payton saying that it's Russell Wilson's fault that they're 0-2, and they're thinking about if they don't turn it around that Wilson will be gone after this year. Ridiculous.
Wilson he's lost it. Whatever he had, he lost it. He was a good quarterback. I always thought that for Russell Wilson. At Miami, though, the way Miami's playing right now, they're healthy. Uh, Denver just does not look that great. So I got Miami by 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, I'm taking Miami in the points. I mean, 6 points, I think, is being very kind to the Broncos at this point, especially, and Broncos defense plays well at times, but they didn't play very well against the Commanders. So yeah, I got the Dolphins by 17.
Wow. It's even more. Chargers at Minnesota. I think both these teams are just playing as bad as you can play for what used to be fairly good teams. I mean, I don't even care that's at Minnesota. Like it doesn't even matter. I think at some point the Chargers have to win a game. I think this is the one. So I'm gonna take the Chargers. A close one and a nail biter by 3. Yeah, Wes.
I just can't get the image of Tannehill running the option and scoring a touchdown the Chargers. It's like it just keeps playing in my head.
Wait, can you see Kirk Cousins doing it?
No. It's just the thing is I see some scoring in this game. I just see the Vikings scoring a little bit more because the Chargers are so dysfunctional. And I swear they just want to fight. I think the coach is getting to the point where he just wants to quit himself with all the Jacksonville noise to keep talking. I mean, he's snapping at reporters about the playoff game last year. They're still giving him shit about it. So I think the Vikings win, not by much. They win by 3.
Yeah, I am taking the Chargers. I think him as a coach helps them lose against good teams, but I think they're too talented. And I just think last year Minnesota was fool's gold. They were not as good as advertised their record was, and this year is where they're going to show. And they were right about Dalvin Cook. He's kind of done, but they should have replaced him. And Madison's not the answer.
No.
So, yeah, I've got the Chargers winning by 7.
Yeah, I mean, you really right now it's just Justin Jefferson, right?
Well,
Hawkinson.
They got Jordan Heston's got 2 touchdowns, doesn't he?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's because nobody is even watching him.
Right.
Like he could be running around like waving his hand, like, "Hey guys, like I'm open." But yeah, I mean, it's not like Addison's having a bad year, but Justin Jefferson's drawn so much attention that
that should open up Addison. That's what I'm saying. I mean, Addison's not a bad second option. I think he's gonna have a big game.
Yeah, I don't know that Minnesota's defense can stop the Chargers' offense. The Chargers' defense is god awful, but I think it'll be a good game. I think it'll be close.
It's like, where is Bosa and Mack?
Right.
They haven't shown up at all.
Yeah.
So bad. Bosa has dropped off, I think, more than any player in the league at this point. Their defensive player.
Yeah.
I think probably one of the hardest games of the week here, Wes. You lead us off. The Patriots at the Jets.
Mac Jones.
Well, yeah, I mean, it is 2 quarterbacks that seriously, I don't know who lacks more confidence. I think
or ability.
Well, ability, that's a tough one too. I am gonna go. I have to go with the Jets just because I think it's gonna be an ugly game, and I think this might be the game where you see an appearance from Dalvin Cook. You have to, I can't believe that he's lost that many steps.
I mean, he is the best receiving running back in the ever.
He was like 5 years ago. He was Florida State. He was the best. But you know what's funny about that is they're not even giving the ball in space.
It does.
I think I have to think that they're going to figure this out because they're going to have to, because the Patriots defense is going to come from Mac Jones. Just like Micah Parsons just wrecked his whole Sunday. But I just think it's going to be low scoring and ugly, and the Jets somehow win the game just because their defense is going to come after Mac Jones.
Their defense
and Mac Jones is going to turn the ball over. So I say they win by 1 point.
6-7.
17-16.
3-2.
Jets at home by 1. What do you got, Derek?
This was tough because there's lots of turmoil going on with the Jets. You see, Sauce Gardner deactivated his Twitter or X account.
Right.
Brees Hall's on there getting all mad because he only got 4 carries the entire game.
It's ridiculous.
But I still think that defense the Jets have is just too strong. So yeah, I got the Jets winning 3-2.
3-2. Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be, I think, the closest game of the week. But we had a swing game with Wes taking Minnesota against our Chargers, so I'm gonna take the Patriots against your guys' Jets. Because the Jets just can't beat the Patriots. Just can't.
Well, and the one thing I didn't mention is I'll take the quarterback. Mac Jones cares versus Zach Wilson doesn't care. And I'm
Zach
just thinking
Wilson
Mac Jones cares too much.
So
that's
trash.
why he's gonna turn the ball over more. Versus Zach Wilson's gonna make 1 or 2 big plays.
Dude, Zach Wilson is Uncle Rico that thinks he can throw a football over the mountain, but he's literally just trying to throw the football over the mountain. He's not trying to complete it to his receivers.
Dude, he had some bad throws against Dallas.
So bad.
I was like, what are you doing?
They're not even close.
It's like he's throwing the ball on the ground a couple times. I'm like, are you doing that on purpose, or is that just a reflex? I thought you were doing one of these, right?
You're doing one of these. I'm gonna have to take the Patriots here, even at New York. I'm gonna take the Patriots. All right, Derek. Here's a pretty easy one, or maybe not. Buffalo at Washington.
Oh.
The Bills are favored by 6.5. Yeah, well, Commanders have a good defense, but I think the Bills start to hit their stride playing not as good teams.
Right.
Okay, I got the Bills by 10.
Yeah, I think this is it's a confidence game for the Bills. They're coming off a big win against the Raiders. They come out and beat Washington by 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Bills too. I think it'll be competitive. I think Washington's playing good. I think they have some momentum, but I think Bills just take care of business. They win by 8.
We're all in agreement with that one. Probably in this one too. I think Jacksonville at home. Even though I think Houston didn't have sparks of good play, the way they played against the Colts last week just shows that they're not there yet. So I think Jacksonville easily wins this game, 10 or more. Yeah, Wes.
Yeah, Jacksonville. It's the Texans are just not. They're just not ready. So I say they win by 10 points.
Yeah, ditto. Not just we can move on. It's not much to say about that.
Just
and if the Texans win, we're all fine.
We won't talk about that anymore. Indianapolis at Baltimore, Wes.
I gotta go with Baltimore, but I will say if Richardson, it's debatable. He's in concussion protocol, right? Yeah, he might not play. Yeah, I just got with the Ravens. I think they'll take care of the Colts pretty handily this week. I think they win by 15.
I don't know about 15 because the Ravens never seem to win by 15. Yeah, I got the Ravens winning too because if Richardson doesn't play, that offense isn't going to do much against the Ravens. So I got the Ravens winning by 10.
Yeah, and this is the tough part about picking games early. I don't think Apples has a chance in this game, but at home, Baltimore, That's a tough ask, especially if Richardson's not 100%. So and no Jonathan Taylor yet. So I'm gonna go with Baltimore by a touchdown. Derek, Carolina at Seattle.
Well, I'm going Seahawks. They're at home. Panthers are still young. Traveling out to Seattle, that's going to be tough. I got Seahawks winning by 7. Although Bryce Young did look good last week.
He didn't look terrible. But at Seattle, that's a tough ask, especially at a rookie quarterback. A lot of noise. Seattle's defense is getting better. I mean, they were good, but they started bad, but they're coming around a little bit. And God, their running backs look really good. Dude, that backup running back that they have, the guy from UCLA, is that what he's from?
Charbonnet, yeah.
Yeah,
awesome.
dude. That guy's a beast. So that dual running back threat, not just against Carolina, I think if they utilize that more this season, that'll help them a lot. So I'm still gonna take Seattle here at home by a touchdown at least. What do you got, Wes?
Yeah, I'm going to take Seattle. I think Bryce Young will have a better game. I think it will be close in the 4. I just think Seattle wins. Too much. Yeah, they just get too much firepower to spoil it. So, yeah, I say Seahawks win by 9.
And another game probably will all have the same pick on where Chicago at Kansas City. At this point, I just have no confidence in Chicago in like changing up their offense. And if you can't change up your offense, your defense sucks. The only chance you have is to outscore teams. And you're throwing, 1 and 2 yard passes every pass. So yeah, I don't know how you get down. I don't know how you go 100 yards when you're throwing 2 yards a play, because that means you got to have 50 plays a drive. So I got to go at home, Kansas City, pretty handily, probably by 10.
Yeah, well, the spread is 13. I'll probably say they're going to win by 20. Because if they're not, that's the thing is like knowing Kansas City, if you have no offense, it's not going to be a fun game.
Right.
So I got Kansas City winning this one because at home, Kelsey's going to be healthier now. Chris Jones' second game. Oh my gosh, Chris Jones again feeding on that offensive line. Oh,
Yeah, their offensive line's not terrible. Has been playing terrible. It's their play calling and it's their defense that's really killing them. And Justin Fields' inability to go through his progressions. What do you got, Wes?
I got the Bears scoring 8 points. That's about it. And I have the Chiefs scoring probably about 27. So 27-8. Not much of a game. Chris Jones gonna be all over Justin Fields. So
Oh man, you guys are gonna be able to feel bad when Chicago wins this game.
I'll feel happy if they beat the Chiefs.
Dude, I'll be like Jim Harbaugh and just put myself, suspend myself. Like, I'm done. Spend the 3 games.
Hey, any given Sunday.
We kind of went backwards there. Did I go out of order?
What?
Doesn't matter. Dallas at Arizona, because I think all the rest of the games are, well, not all the rest, but here we go. So Dallas at Arizona. I'll lead off here. It's not even close. Not even close. I think Dallas just murders them on defense. And I got Dallas at least by 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, well, no, wait, it's Wes's turn though.
Go Wes.
Yeah, 2 touchdowns sound about right to me, but I say 30-14.
They're going to score 14? I got more like 30 to
Oh,
3.
at the end of the game, yeah.
Yeah, 30-3.
I mean, yeah. Gosh, is that even? I wonder if it's even going to be televised because they probably don't want to see this massacre on TV.
Right.
Oh, every Cowboy fan's going to want to see it. So, yeah, some of us will be forced to
Probably
watch.
going to be game of the week.
Yeah. We can hear how they've already won the Super Bowl week 3.
Oh, man. All right, Wes. Pittsburgh at the Raiders.
Oh, God. Who's this fucking Garoppolo? Jimmy G. Man, after last week, I mean, we didn't even talk about the Raiders. Probably a good thing because yeah. Lots to talk about. I'm going with the Steelers just because just their defense. I think Jimmy G, he even looks like he's hobbled a little, and that's not a good sign because he's not going to be able to move out of the way from the rush. I think they're going to come after him. I think hopefully Devontae Adams plays, right? He should be okay, even though I think he's nursing an ankle.
They said he's already okay. It's Jacoby Myers they're still waiting on.
Right.
Yeah, I think Devontae Adams has a couple touchdowns. I just think that Pickens. I mean, like I said, the only thing Pickens can do is throw it to Pickens. And so I think that will be the difference in the end because the Raiders don't even have a secondary. I mean, they don't have ball hawks. They have they don't have playmaker. I was the last time you see them make a play on defense. So yeah, I'm taking the Steelers by 4.
Well, it's going to be my swing game because the Steelers have not won against the Raiders when the Raiders have been at home since Neil O'Donnell was the quarterback. Roethlisberger never has beaten the Raiders at the Raiders' home. And you really think Kenny Pickett's going to do it? Come on, man. Kenny Pickett. You're going to let little tiny hands come into Las Vegas and win the game? Yeah.
Dude, you know what? You totally, now I really regret my pick when you just said tiny hands. It's like, what was I thinking? I forgot.
The Steelers got TJ Watt and Highsmith, but you know what? The Raiders got Max Crosby.
What? Oh, yeah, he did. What happened last week?
Yeah, let's not talk about the Raiders.
38 defense. On the Raiders. Like it was nothing.
Do you want me to start showing you all the pictures of Max Crosby getting held? It wasn't Max Crosby's fault.
Oh, jeez.
And
well, that's if he's getting held.
Here's the thing. Are you telling me?
How is he?
Are you telling me Josh Allen at home is just the same as Kenny Pickett on the road? Come on,
you're
man.
Right. The only thing is, the Bills beat them by 28.
Yeah, I mean that's
in Buffalo.
Beat them by more. And of course, Pittsburgh's not going to score. They're not going to beat them hardly at all. But I just think it could go either way. I just think that Garoppolo and TJ Watt, that's not a good.
Okay, that could go back. You needed like 100 turnovers from Watson even to win that game. The Steelers' offense couldn't do anything.
But Garoppolo did throw across his body, and he somehow got intercepted 6 yards down the field. I don't, it's like what Garoppolo. I just think he's gonna have a bad game.
Well, he might, but who won't? Josh Jacobs, because look what Ford did against the Steelers.
Oh yeah, he had a good game.
So I'm not saying it's like the world beaters here, but I'm not saying that Steelers are the greatest team in the world either. So at home, I could see the Raiders pulling the 1-point upset.
1-point upset. I'm gonna have to agree with Derek on this one because I think the Steelers are trash. To be honest with you, I think they got so lucky to beat Cleveland. After Cleveland had 4 turnovers, 6 multiple interceptions, gave a fumble recovery for a touchdown, and these guys still barely won the game. After Deshaun Watson had 2 dragging guys down by the face mask, they had a terrible couple punt returns. Like Cleveland did everything they could do to try to lose this game, and Pittsburgh still barely won. And I think the key is Josh Jacobs here, to be honest with you. I think Josh Jacobs at home runs the ball well, and as long as the Raiders stay within that running game, it doesn't put Garoppolo under the pressure that Deshaun Watson was. And so I got the Raiders by a field goal. So it's a swing game, Wes, for you. Taking the Steelers.
Wes, I want you to bet on the Steelers.
Put them in your parlay, Wes. Put them in your parlay.
Never doing a parlay again.
All right. Derek, Philly at Tampa Bay.
Well, this will be week
2-0 Tampa Bay.
This will be the week because Steve thought it was last week. This will be the week that the Tampa Bay Bucks finally lose a game. There's no way Mike Evans is going for 170 yards and Baker Mayfield looking like, he's in college again against the Eagles defense. Darius Slay will be all over Evans. So, yeah, I got the Eagles winning by 14.
Yeah, it's in Tampa Bay, so I'm not going to go that deep, but I'm going to go 9. Philly's defense just too tough. Their offense does not look great, and Tampa's doesn't look terrible. So I think it's a little closer in that sense. So I'm going Philly by 9.
Yeah, I'm taking Philly too. It's just, their defense can be too much. And then they're come after Baker. He's not going to have that great of a game.
All right, wrap it up here with the Rams at Cincinnati. And, oh, man. Cincinnati looks so bad. But the Rams played good against Seattle, played good against San Francisco. I mean, but it's a must win for Cincinnati. You have to win this game. You cannot lose this game. Cannot lose this game. Well, I mean, that's like you have to win, but you don't really have to. If they lose it, you can't go on 3. Because the difference between 0-2 and 0-3 and making the playoffs, it's an astronomical difference in statistically.
Yeah, it is.
So I can't see Cincinnati losing this game. So I'm gonna go Cincinnati by 6. What do you got, Wes?
Yeah, I got Cincinnati too. It's gonna be a tough game, but yeah, Cincinnati has to win. I think they will win. I think Burrow will be okay. I think he'll get the treatment. They're gonna really make sure the cap is loose enough and probably do treatment during the game and at halftime. So I think they still win by 8.
You have to go to Jamar Chase at some point, right? Like
well,
you got to stop and say Jamar Chase is our guy.
Yeah, and if they're gonna continue to do what they're doing against them, then T. Higgins is gonna score. So
I don't care if he's double team, throw him the ball.
Oh yeah, pick your battles, but yeah, if he's double teamed, why not? I mean, just give him a chance.
Yeah, I mean it's crazy. If I'm Jamar Chase, I'm not happy right
now. No, you're not.
Well, think about it. At the beginning of the last year and everything, he was like, was it Jamar Chase or Justin Jefferson? And now it's like, what has Chase even done?
No, it's not anymore. It's just Justin Jefferson. And it's nobody else.
Not
Tyreek Hill.
Pickens.
I
Not
mean,
Pickens?
yeah, Pickens. I mean, statistically, you could make an argument maybe for Tyreek Hill, but not physically route
No.
running, catching. It's just
I
he
think
just got the speed. He's just so fast.
I think Chase will emerge here. And this might be the game.
It
But
has to be the game.
I
This,
think Chase is gonna there's gonna be a point in the season where he does take over.
yeah.
And you're gonna
This,
see just all the ability.
I mean, this is a time, right? Because
Yeah.
Rams secondary is not good.
No.
Derek, what you got?
Has to be the Bengals, right? I mean, they have to.
Yeah, I mean, if the Bengals lose, they go 0-3.
They're going to look to trade Higgins.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be terrible.
Well,
Lose a
and
free agent.
dude, Mixon doesn't look good. Their offensive line doesn't look good. Their secondary doesn't look good. There's
They
not a
don't.
lot that looks good in Cincinnati right now.
Well, here's the thing, and now the debate is back. Well, should they have drafted Chase over Penei Sewell?
Yeah, I mean,
Because Burrow is getting murdered out there.
but one guy doesn't make an offensive line
No,
where
they gotta figure it
one
out.
guy makes a receiving core.
Yeah.
Yeah, but just look at the Super Bowl. Chase
Yeah.
was wide open, but guess what? You couldn't get it to him because he got hit.
Well,
And if you got your blind side taken care of,
Yeah, I still have a hard time drafting any offensive line over Jamar Chase.
well, when you have T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd already,
I
But
mean,
those guys are so unreliable. Like
yeah, but
half
what
the
has
time,
Chase done this year?
yeah, this year,
they're
but
not
and
giving them
he-
chances.
Chase will come back and he'll have 200-yard games.
Yeah, it's weak. I mean, the thing is, it is weak too.
Right.
But you're playing the Rams. You're playing at home. You better get it done. And if you don't, then yeah, all options on the table for the team because the team, I mean, their chances of going to the playoffs really get slim if they lose.
Oh
You know?
yeah, I mean this is it is definitely they have
And
to
the
win.
AFC, you don't want to go 0-3 in the AFC. You know.
Well, and your division because Baltimore's 2-0, right? So yeah, that's gonna be rough for them.
You have almost seen it could happen. The Bengals and Chargers going 0-3 to start the season.
Right.
I'm not surprised.
I'm a little surprised at the Chargers because playing, I mean, the Dolphins, that was a tough game. They almost won, right? It came down to the end. But losing in overtime to the Titans,
It's because your head coach is an idiot.
Yeah, I mean, isn't he a defensive coach too?
Yeah.
What's amazing to me is how do you have the 30th ranked defense in the NFL consistently, and you're a defensive coach, and how do you keep your job? And you blow the lead against Jacksonville.
Hey, he doesn't want to talk about that one, Wes. That's last year.
Yeah,
I'm not talking about that.
And
I'm talking about it. Okay.
And he called the timeout in the Raider game, so the Raiders.
Dude. Yeah.
Can I see your resume? For you want to be a coach? Can I see your resume?
There's definitely coaching problem in San Diego or what's LA now, right? Yeah, they have so many skilled players. It's really hard to watch them lose. But now Eckler is questionable for who knows how long.
Yeah. But Kelly has been playing well.
Yeah. He's still not Austin Eckler, though.
Yeah.
But they have so many good receivers, and they got Herbert. Their defense just hasn't shown up. I think that's the big problem. All right, well, that's our week 2 prediction wrap up here. Let's finish off just with a little bit of HSC podcast fantasy football. Couple of big losses this week. I'll start with me losing to Big Mike. God. Chubb gets hurt, out for the season. When I should have won, and then I had the Saints and Chubb going. And all I had to get was 20 points, and I end up still losing by 7. So that was a rough one.
And he had Hall get him 0.9.
Right. Yeah, but Keenan Allen 31 hit a big game there. So that puts me down to 1-1. Team John 2-0, favored to win the league right now.
He's real excited.
I bet. But Team Invaders beating the spine. So Derek at 0-2 to start the season.
You like the Bengals.
You like the Bengals.
Well,
Expected to be in the Super Bowl.
Injuries. I mean, when you lose, like Ayuk had 7 points in the first quarter. Like, so he was on his way to having a big game. I lose by 5 because Dallas's D gets 16. But yeah, and then on my bench, I had Brian Robinson Jr. with 29, Puka Nakua with 30, and Zach Moss with 20, and McLaurin was 16. So any one of those guys was in, I would have.
Yeah, I had a great bench too. But Wes is leading the league in points scored at 249.84.
Is Wes gonna start Daniel Jones next week?
Oh God, dude.
Daniel Jones gave you 30.
I know.
On the bench.
I know. It's a conundrum because I think Jackson's a little banged up. He doesn't look right. So it might not be a bad idea.
You know what's interesting in your guys' East Division?
Well, they're playing the Niners. I can't start.
Dude, you're 2-0. Wes is 2-0. Team John 2-0. Big Mike 2-0, and then Derek and Raul 0-2. In our division on the West, everybody's 1-1 except my sister's 0-2. You have 4 teams at 1-1, so
well, and then
pretty even start.
The reigning champion is the lowest scorer so far.
Yeah, but it's still got a win under his belt.
Joe beat him. Yeah,
he didn't have his game was rough. So it's we're only 2 weeks in, but Wes jumping out 2-0.
Oh, I don't want to. No, I'm not going to beat the Cowboys. Okay, I'm not celebrating at all.
You're looking a lot like the Cowboys.
Like it's kind of funny, but no, absolutely not.
But
I'm not quite sure about my running back situation at this point because I think ETN's hurt.
Yeah,
and I got Charbonnet on the bench, but he's not a starter.
Kind of speaking about just injuries in general. There's a lot of injuries here in the first 2 weeks. And where do people go from here?
Yeah.
I gotta replace Chubb. How do I replace Chubb? Saquon, gotta replace Saquon. Austin Eckler, Stout. Maybe all these running backs are just like faking injuries. They're like, you're not gonna pay us, we're not gonna play.
Yeah, I heard about that too. That's good.
Well, your sister, Steve, I told her to pick up Josh Kelly. She didn't do it.
But Eckler was scheduled to play last week, though.
I don't think so. I told her he was going to be out.
It's kind of the reasons why I
Oh,
picked the
did
running
he
backs.
not play at all?
No.
Yeah,
He didn't play at all.
Oh, well, she didn't start him though.
Right. Well, I told her to take him out.
Yeah.
I had to teach her how to edit your lineup.
Yeah. But I mean, it
She's
doesn't
like,
matter.
Steve won't help me.
Josh scored 150
What?
points anyway, dude. Like, you're not beating him
No,
scoring
you're not.
150 points. So, like, good luck with that. So, yeah, I mean, I guess moral of the story is there's a lot of people getting injured right now, and there's a lot of different roster moves you can make. Dave Montgomery's questionable, St. Brown's questionable, Ayuk. DK Metcalf.
Yeah, I mean, in our league, the people, the first one would be Jerome Ford
Right. Ford's
for
got it. You
Chubb.
got to pick up there.
Breida for Barkley. One to
Gus,
look at.
Gus Edwards still available. Josh Kelly's
mm,
still available.
Now down the line, maybe not a week or two, but I'm pretty sure Kareem Hunt's available, and he's getting
Right. He might sign with the Browns as well.
Cleveland. Yeah.
Uh, I think, Tutu Atwell has had a really good start, a little overshadowed by the other guy, but he still had really good games.
Yeah. Kendrick Bourne has turned into the number one for Mac Jones.
Well, and if you don't see a lot from St. Brown, like, you're going to see a lot more Josh Reynolds.
Yeah.
So a lot of good options out there, especially in just that 10-person league. But we're still early. The sad part is that we've got 2-0 Team John, 2-0 Big Mike, who haven't even looked at their teams yet.
Well, I have got Team John this week, so
it's you know what it is? It's AI
right.
taking over.
Chat GPT, right?
Taking over.
But without outside of our league, I think people should be looking at similar things, right? Who got injured? What are the guys to pick up? And what are the guys that aren't really that you could bench? Like, for me, for example, Madison, I don't know if it's a guy I'm going to play all year, right? I might be better off with DeAndre Swift or Mosier, you know.
Yeah.
So some of these people that had those early like big numbers, yeah, I don't know if I don't want to stick with those.
It is a tough week. There's some decisions I have to make too because it's like I got Dalvin Cook on the bench. I can't just believe that they can't give him the freaking ball. and they're not even running Brees Hall. It's like
Yeah, you can't do a whole lot with Zach Wilson. All right, let's wrap it up here. Any final thoughts?
well, we'll see how it goes. But this week seemed a little bit more predictable than the other week, so we'll see.
Yeah,
Not as many games that were like hemming and hawing on.
Yeah, there's a couple games I went opposite with to try to gain some ground, which that didn't work out. So we're a lot more, I think, equal on these games than we were. Which I was hoping to steal some games last week, but I didn't. And then, of course, the Bears.
still suck.
Yeah, I mean, could have been a contender, Rock. You could have been a contender.
Oh.
It's sad to watch them play. I don't know if you guys watched much of the game last week,
No,
but
I had watching the Raider game sadly in front of me, and I was watching the Bear game, and I was just like,
it was probably the worst
yeah,
offensively play called game I've ever seen. Like
nah.
number one. And I've seen a lot of Nagy games. But this one literally looked like they did not want to get yards. If I was DJ Moore, I'd be pissed.
Are they
'Cause
playing for Caleb Williams?
that's why you came here, right? That's why they got DJ Moore. To stretch the field, to open up the offense so you didn't have to throw the ball 5-7 yards every single time.
Screen 3 times in a row.
Dude.
Wedge.
On your own goal line. Did you see the interception? Did you see that play?
Dude,
It's a screen on their own 2-yard line.
that was the worst play I've ever
I don't
seen.
know why you're running a screen and
On the two.
And it's intercepted and touchdown there. When you're only down 3, you got 2 minutes left. You're driving. You have a drive to try to tire win.
When I saw it, I came unglued. I couldn't believe what I saw. I was like,
No, I mean it was unbelievable, and it wasn't like they needed to push a screen because Tampa Bay wasn't blitzing like crazy. Like it just is unbelievable. And so yeah, I think that's what we're in for this year.
Welcome to Al.
Welcome to the potty. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Don't forget to subscribe and like if you're watching on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or listening on Anchor. Please leave us some comments. And don't forget to subscribe and like. Any comments you want to hear about our picks, let us know. And we'll see you guys next time.